Does anybody like inefficient processes? I don't think so. Nobody I know, at least. So I'm going to walk through a few indicators that make it really easy to determine, are my processes efficient or not efficient? All right, so the first one that we're going to look at is repeat questions. If you're getting asked the same question over and over and over again, it's your workflows. You need to add documentation, you need to make them more simple, add some standardization, but repeat questions are probably one of the number one indicators that something's completely inefficient. What you're ultimately getting for is the opposite, that somebody can work through a process or somebody can work through a workflow without ever asking a question. So being able to envision and think about, all right, what kind of information can I provide? I'll give you a quick example. In our case, when we manage client projects, we have a team skills tracker, we have a capacity planning tool, we have essentially all the dates everything needs to be delivered by. What that means is our project managers can look at the skills tracker and say, oh, I know these people on our team can do this. And then they can look at the capacity tool and the workload view and say, all right, one of these has the room to do it by the date that this is being delivered on. And suddenly, instead of having to go, all right, well, who should I give this to? And when should this be done? And how should I assign this? And blah, 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 all that crap. It's all questions answered, no repeat questions. So our project management system and process is extremely efficient because they don't have to ask any questions. They have all the information that they need. And the documentation on how to do everything and use all these tools is provided 24/7. Okay. When things take too long, so a lot of times this is, hey, sales is setting a deadline, the client needs it by this time, marketing needs this by this date, and then tasks are assigned. When things take too long and longer than they should, there's a clear indicator here that there's some inefficiency going on. Again, that could be solved by a simple process map. That could be solved by better training, better documentation. But what you're looking for is making the decision or deciding between, is this the actual person that's slow or is this the process? And you can weed that out by saying, all right, well, we've got 3 people doing this. They're all slow. Is that really the case or is it a process issue? If you just have one person doing it, talk to that person. Where are they getting hung up? If you just ask them those questions, they're going to give you answers that at least give you a lead to follow up on to figure out what's going on here. Human error, big indicator. This essentially is saying, I totally missed something. I forgot something. I forgot a step. This can usually be solved with simple SOPs or standard operating procedures. Record a loom on how to do something, give it a title, do a quick process map, set your team up for success so that they're not having these errors. Burnout is a huge indicator of inefficient processes. When you have things that just aren't working, it makes you exhausted. When somebody has to ask questions all the time, exhaustion. When they make mistakes, exhaustion. Everything that we've talked about so far can lead to burnout, and then burnout can actually be a huge indicator that there's something just not quite right here. So then trace it back from the people that are getting burnt out. Talk to the people that are getting burnt out. You can definitely see when people get burnt out, like within your team, you can tell their demeanor changes, their personality changes. That's the time to have the one-on-one. That's the time to have the conversation to say, yo, what's going on? What's happening? What are your roadblocks? Why are you feeling this way? And work backwards from there, trace that back to what processes, what workflows, what's working and what's not, and then work to fix those. Missed deadlines, this is similar to what we talked about earlier, but if things are set and different things are happening, and they just keep getting missed. This could be a task assignment. This could be something else. It means something's wrong. Again, talk to the people that are getting assigned these tasks, figure out what the issue is, and work backwards. The last one here is if something is too copy and pasty. I know that's not really a term, but the idea here is if you're paying somebody because they're smart and they're able to provide value to the business, you want to get as much of that value out of them as you can. If they're sitting and copying and pasting stuff all day, I mean, I talk to C-level executives multiple times a week who are literally building reports that's copying it from this format to this format to this format to sending it out in email, waiting to get it back, sending it out for digital. So it's just like crazy the spaghetti loop that stuff goes through, and it's all spending time and wasting mental energy trying not to make mistakes, trying to hit the deadlines, trying not to get burnt out. But when things are too copy and pasty, it's just exhausting for people. This is where process optimization can come in with automation and AI, which we cover in a lot of videos on this channel. So go ahead and subscribe and you get to learn about that. But at least for right now, identify where in your processes, like there's this copy and paste mentality of like, well, we've got to get it to here, and look to work backwards from that and try to eliminate those pieces. All of these together are the indicators that you're going to watch out for. Talk to the people, review your processes, document those, view those, and determine how can we optimize this? How can we automate it? How can we remove the inefficiencies? Again, a lot of this is soft skills. It's determining that there's burnout. It's seeing that there's errors. It's not laying the blame. It's diving in and saying, how can we fix this?